Thank you very much, Shelley. And it's my pleasure to be here and to be facilitating this next panel, Girl Power. And I've been really inspired reading a little bit about some of the panellists that we're about to hear from, and you're very excited to share their stories with you. I did joke when I first saw I was facilitating this. In my case, I've been around a while now that perhaps it should be called Auntie Power, but I'm really pleased, to be able to have a yarn with some of these incredible women we're about to make that are very much the future of our communities. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our panellists up the front here. So Jasmine Yunupingu. Jasmine is a Yolngu leader and program manager at Yalu Aboriginal Corporation in Galawinku. She founded the Girl Power Initiative, gathering young women for safety, support and healing. Under Jasmine's leadership, the program empowers Yolngu girls to speak out and access help. She's recognised for her cultural care, resilience and vision, shaping a safer, stronger future for women in her community. Join me again in welcoming Jasmine. Next, we welcome Letitia Baker, who is Program Manager with Yalu Aboriginal Corporation and co-leads Girl Power. She supports and mentors Yolngu girls through group activities and camps, building trust and confidence. She is a dedicated advocate for wellbeing, safety and cultural strength. Her leadership sustains the program's impact, nurturing the next generation of empowered women in Galawinku. Next up, travelling from across the seas to join us is Tashina Red Hawk. Her Lakota name is Anpetu. Thank you. And that means honour the day woman. She represents, and sorry, we didn't check your community's names, the Sicangu Lakota. Also known as the Rosealee tribe. Yes. Excellent, thank you for your there. And believes in caring for all creation is our duty. Tashina, absolutely, that's worth a round of applause. Tashina strives to lead by example, inspiring youth through charity and education. Her achievements have been recognised with several national awards, among them the honour of being the first 4-H National Youth Spokesperson for Agriculture from South Dakota. In 2022-23, she was crowned Miss Indian World at the Gathering of Nations, and she encourages young women to dream big and persevere. Welcome again to Tashina. And also joining us as our fourth panellist is Rosealee Pearson, a proud Yolngu woman from Gulkula. Rosalie has built a diverse creative career, celebrating and championing her culture as a director, choreographer, producer, dancer and actor. After graduating from Nasda Dance College in Sydney, Rosalie worked with arts organisations and internationally renowned musicians. Recently, Rosalie choreographed and directed Song Spirals, a dance work inspired by her mother. And her roles in the arts foster cultural connection, identity and opportunity for the next generation. And of course, Rosalie's creative practice is deeply rooted in her community and her stories from this land and country. Welcome, Rosalie, and all our panellists. Thanks. So you can see why I'm so excited to be here asking a few questions for these incredible women. So Jasmine and Letitia, I'm going to start with you. Now, you're both Yolngu women from Galawinku who've grown up in... Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to give yourself a quick introduction?
Sorry, Letitia's not here. But my name is Kayama.
And you're involved in the
Yalu,
Girl Power as well?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, you're both young women who've very much grown up in two worlds. Firstly, do you want to tell us about the work that you do at Yalu?
Right.
Okay, so I'll start. So I'm a Komach young woman from Elko Island, and I am so privileged to speak for the first time in my own country. So I'm proud. So I was raised with knowledge and values from both Yolngo and Balanda worlds. And so I have to start tell stories more about girl power. So I am currently a program manager in the Children and Family Services team, board director and deputy chair of Yalu Aboriginal Corporation. My work focuses on helping families with reunifications and families support services. In 2021, I started a Girl Power program with just 3 referrals. I began this program from the scratch, using my own time and resources around supporting young teenage girls to respect, to stay healthy and have a good well-being. We are using trusted resources to help our young teenage girls to learn about respectful behavior, helping them how to show respect to themselves and others in family, school, community, and friendships. The topic that I've started to give an education with the girls is to have strong communication, boundaries and consent, healthy friendships and relationships, confident to speak up and say no to violence. Care for their health and well-being, teaching young girls to look after their body, mind, and spirit in both Yolngo and Balanda ways. In good nutrition, staying active, personal hygiene, emotional well-being and mental health, cultural identity and connection, girl power defense training as well.
We also give educations about violence, trauma, and sexual violence in girl power, how to stop violence and sexual violence at our community. And girl power is for me, is a most important thing for like all the girls to stick together and to be a good role model for our youngest, yeah, and for the future.
It is such important work you do, so thank you both for all you do for the community and to give back to community. And you mentioned some of the difficult issues that you guys work with. Where do you draw your energy from to do this work?
So we work together with them through their stories, activities, and give support so they can grow strong, proud, and safe. So this energy that I've decided to have education out in country, go out for camp for a week so they can refresh their minds and stay focused. Mostly I've experienced for these young girls, they have experience this first time hearing about all forms of domestic violence, and most of the young girls have felt very amazing, and seeing them in that yarn where they can discuss their stories in openly. So there's a space where they can share their stories.
That's incredible. And what inspires you to keep going?
So today, the numbers of teenage girls that are participating has grown. Many are now choosing to sit and have a yarn and learn deeply about all forms of domestic family violence and sexual violence, like in cultural perspective way, and it is good to have the girls to now have that education, and the messages is spreading out in the community. Instead of us chasing them, they are coming in and seeking for a help.
For me, all of the Yalu stuff, we do it from our hearts. That's why all the kids loves us. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We are seeing real change. These young women are starting to shift their behaviors and are willing to learn and grow. So it's so amazing to see the changes in our communities.
And also have the confidence, yeah, to build their confidence, because most of them are shy. And yeah.
Yeah, just incredible. Thank you both so much for sharing. Yeah, this deserves a round of applause. What amazing work you are doing. It's very, yes, the epitome of girl power, I reckon. So thank you both. I'm going to come over here now, and we'll start talking to our esteemed international guest, Tashina. Now, as we mentioned in your bio, you're from an Indigenous community in North America. Your name means honour the day woman, and you're a former Miss Indian World. Could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, your family, and where you're from?
Yes. Mitakiapi chantewa stenape tiusapi Tashina Red Hawk imachapi honanaku Anpetu Yuonihan Win Wakia Changleshka Tawi Chode Mata Unchimita Chajeki Shirlinda Red Hawk na Viola Good Voice na Mod White Shield na Tatewa Kawi Wakowi Chogaki Lila Tewahila. Hi all my relatives, I'm really excited to be here with you all. It took me 20 hours and I would do it again. So one thing is that I come from, yes, the Rosealee tribe, the Sicangu Lakota Makoche. Those are my Sicangu Lakota homelands. Specifically, I come from Wakia Changleshka, which is an old, little, powerful, spiritually powerful community called Ring Thunder. And in addition, I ended up naming my grandmothers because where I come from, we're a heavily matriarchal-based tribe. And so I listed my 4 generations of grandmothers, as well as I want to make a quick recognition too that 20-hour flight was only possible because I got to fly right beside my Ina, my mother there, Noella Red Hawk. And so I was very honored and very excited to find out that I would be speaking on this girl empowerment panel because coming from a matriarch community and being raised by my mother and adorned by her and cherished meant so much to me, and I think it's so powerful and so necessary to remember those women in our lives and to keep on and carry on the traditions, whether it's traditions from many miles of seas away or to here The one thing is we're all Indigenous. Whether you're Aborigine or Lakota or Seminole, we're all one powerful nation of women.
Tell us a little bit about the work that you do and what drives you.
Yes, so I do quite a bit of work, and you know what? One of the most important things I do that I believe is work is continuing to learn and carry on this living legacy that my grandmother passed on to me. There are so many layers to our traditions and our ceremonies, and I think just as an individual, one of the most powerful things I can do is to maintain those traditions and to learn my language and to learn my ceremonies and to pass those on to the next generations. So real quickly, if this is all right, to be honored to be here with these powerful women and be surrounded by this beautiful land, one thing that really drives me is my grandmother Viola Goodvoice and the steps that she left for me to follow. And she was a song composer, and my grandma Maud, she was one of the last known medicine women from my people. And so one thing that I can do for you all here today for encouragement, for good health, and for these lands, and for the honor of being here, is to share my grandmother's song, and that's just what's most appropriate as a Lakota woman. The reason why I wanted to share that song with you all is because I composed it. After my grandmother's work and legacy of carrying on these traditions, you learn so much from these songs. You learn the language, you learn the ceremonies, you learn this way of life, and you learn to value it. And one way that I want to carry on my legacy is by continuing the language and continuing these songs, because there's songs for everything. There's songs for this wind blowing through here. There's songs for honoring the sun when it comes up and being thankful for this day today. So something that really, really drives me is my grandmothers in my life, is the women in my life. Without them, I wouldn't be alive. And without them, all the men wouldn't be alive. But the thing is really quickly too, before our next question, I can go on. You're going to learn what it means to be Lakota, to sit with a Lakota. The thing is I do really quickly want to thank each of the men who stayed for this girl power talk, because my mother taught me what it meant to be a Lakota woman. My father taught me the traditions and the spirituality of being a Lakota. So there may be a day that these men don't have that woman to stand beside them and raise that child, but if they're raising a woman, it takes a strong man, someone who is grounded within their roots, to raise these upcoming women. So I want to thank each of you men who stayed for this talk.
And yeah, thank you, Tashina, for sharing your story and your song with us. So, yeah, it's... Hi. Very moving, Rosalie. And I think so much resonance in what you say. We have songs and, in this part of the world and indeed our nations right across Australia as well. So thank you for sharing part of your story and culture with us. While we're sharing, what advice would you like to share with other Indigenous women and indeed men here today?
So as I shown myself as an example here, standing here in front of you all today, on what I do to be a woman, what drives me, what I need to do in order to fulfill my role to continue my community's legacy, their traditions, as I shared that with you all. The thing is each one of you women in here, whether from a young age to the eldest woman, is we need to make sure that we ignite in that flame within us, that desire to carry on who we're meant to be. Because the thing is as women, we're sacred, we're so powerful, we can bring life to this earth. But the thing is we got to remember that. And so if we want to think about our descendants, the next 7 generations to come, our youth, that's within us. We're born with that power. We're born with that strength. We're born with this love. There's so much strength in love, and there's so much strength in prayer, and there's so much strength in women. And it is up to each and every one of us women to put that in our children, to prepare the next generations. Because guess what? Yes, we faced persecution in the past. All of us Native and Indigenous people did. But it's not about that anymore. It's who can we be today to prepare our future generations? What are we going to do now to instill that our songs are carried on, our ceremonies are carried on, this way of life continues? Well, us as women, we're going to make sure we know all of that knowledge. We have it, and that we share it with our up-and-coming generations, our babies, our wakaija, our sacred little ones. So something that I will share as a word of encouragement or advice is to make sure you realize what's around you. When I got here, these stones on the ground, they're powerful. They're beautiful. Even for the Lakotas, we were told stones are just rocks. They're dead. They don't have life. But the thing is everything alive, dakuakan, everything that is sacred has life. It's all powerful. There's spirits within those rocks for us Lakotas. So the fact that we walk across all these beautiful rocks, just as me coming over the seas, I can feel that energy underneath me. So the culture that I have inside me, my DNA, my blood, we all bleed red. That blood within inside me brought me here today, but I can see the beauty that we get to walk on. So as women, remember where you come from. Remember the traditions, the heritage, the legacy. And remember, as one nation, we are very strong. But individually, we are still powerful, and it is up to us to pass on that knowledge, love, and strength to our next generations.
Thanks again, Tashina. And look, it would be remiss of me. You've come such a very long way to join us here at Garma. 20 hours, I think you said, of travel. So what are your impressions of Australia so far in the short time you've been here?
Like I said, it's beautiful. It's powerful to be so close to such a large body of water, too. The Lakotas have a saying, Mini we chose ani, water is life. These trees, we pray to the trees back home. Our sacred peace pipe or our prayer pipes come from a tree. So everything that I see around Garma and the people and the sounds, the instruments, we have our own traditional instruments that create love songs that used to be for courting, like our flutes. But that originated from the sounds of an elk and all of that. So everything is so deeply rooted within each other that coming here and seeing these traditional lands, it's beautiful. Because I have my own knowledge of what my people would believe, what they seen here is what to be. But to be able to be surrounded by this culture here and to take it in and really have that cultural exchange, I think is powerful, because I can share with you all the successes of my tribes, and you can share with me the successes of yours. And I think this connectedness that we have with me being here is what I'm most honored to be and most honored to feel the energy of here. So to be here, this is a beautiful, lovely place. When these Native people come together, like I said, as one, we're strong. So this is something amazing to see, and I'm so honored to be a part of it.
Well, thank you again. And yeah, I'm sure there are many people who'll be wanting to catch up with you and have a yarn and share stories across the weekend. So yeah, great to have you here. Now, Rosalie, we're going to move to you now. Now you've done it all across your career. A dancer at NASDA, a producer. Your production of Song Spirals is receiving critically acclaim and soon to be showing at the Sydney Opera House, which is impressive. So round of applause for that. You're also a mum, so probably the most important of all the jobs, and you live right here in northeast Arnhem Land. How do you do it?
Well, funnily enough, when you were talking about why you do what you do, about your grandmothers, when I first walked in here, I got really emotional, and this is why I think I cried when you shared your song with us, because all these pictures that you see out here as you're walking in, they're of my grandmothers. So I felt their energy as I was walking in, and then I came into this space and I was over-intellectualizing everything in my head, like, what am I going to say? How am I going to say it? But the thing that my grandmothers taught me is that you speak from your heart and you speak your truth. And what was also so emotional for me is my children are Cherokee. And so, although you're not Cherokee, just to hear songs from their country was really emotional, especially for me and my husband. So thank you so much. The power of these women on this panel is incredible. How do I do it? I don't know sometimes. How do we carry on with our children? Because, of course, it's our responsibility to teach them how to live the right way in our world, how to treat each other the right way, how to treat the land the right way. That's why I do what I do. And funnily enough, I thought I knew everything about motherhood when I was not a mother. But when you become a mother, it's an enormous transformation. And the sense of care that a mother has for every child in this world is enormous. I'm so sorry. And there's a sense of transformation and walking through fire, where a woman becomes indestructible, and that the power that they've had inside them as young women, as teenagers, as girls, is finally revealed in its true self when you become a mum. 5 years ago today, I had my firstborn, Jamila. And the way that children give measure to your life is the most sacred thing in the whole world, as you said. So that's how I do it. Through sleepless nights, through overstimulation. That's why I do it.
Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that, Rosalie. You mentioned women and, we're indestructible. Where do you draw your strength from to be indestructible?
Like I said before, my grandmothers who've come, the amount of knowledge that they shared to everybody in their families and in their clans and within the region, nationally, internationally, for years and years and years. And that knowledge, how it's been passed down to all of us through generation. My mama is teaching me how to sing my songs now, and I'll be able to pass that on to future generations as well, which is one of the big projects that we've got going for the next 2 years, so that those knowledges are recorded and that we get to share them with all the different communities around the region.
And obviously you've spoken about your grandmothers being a huge, influence and inspiration to you. Do they also sort of help to guide you in your journey?
1,000%. Even today, even though they're not with us anymore, there'll be moments where I'll catch myself of a touch. My child will do something and then the words of my grandmother will come out. Or the guidance of my grandmothers will reverberate in my mind, and that allows me to channel it to them. Yeah.
Incredible. And I guess I'm really, you've sort of spoken about what's gotten you to this point and all of those influences and inspirations. What are your hopes for the future and for your children?
Sorry, I'm just running off a list in my head. I'll think of one in a minute. So much. I mean, honestly, I hope that there's women like this in the next generation that will be able to represent all of their communities and be able to travel around the world and share the information that they hold in their hearts and their minds. Yeah.
And look, I know this was unscripted, but I'm really keen to hear from our other panellists too on their hopes for the future. So if we don't mind, Tashina, what are your hopes for the future, particularly for women?
Yes. For our young ladies, I hope that we can shower them in so much love and affection that they're okay being vulnerable, that they feel safe and they feel like they're in a place where they can soak up everything that we have to share with them and everything that the world has to offer. One of the things when I was during my Miss New World years, I got to go to a lot of schools and speak with our young ones. And one of my biggest words of advice was to be a spiritual sponge, like yourself. If you could think of being a sponge everywhere you go or every conversation you have with an elder that's speaking their knowledge, or when your mother is teaching you how to make these spiritual foods, it's almost like squeezing yourself, and the second it starts, release and soak everything in that you can. Because the thing is it is up to us to prepare those next generations. But as our younger children in the room, I really want them to hopefully be inspired by people they have to listen to, but most importantly, at that adolescent age, for them to feel comfortable and loved enough that when they have curiosities and questions, or when we're giving them advice and teaching them these traditional things, is that they feel comfortable enough to retain everything that's given or put in front of them.
Amazing. Thank you. And we'll come back over to Jasmine and Kayana. What are your hopes for the future?
For the girls.
For the girls, yeah.
My hope for the future, for the girls in my community to be strong for themselves and carry our elders' knowledge. Yeah.
My goal is for you girls to have a better future. I hope and wish you have to listen to your leaders and make sure obey the commandments. Like, our leaders are always our backbones. Like, for myself, I had my grandmothers who have given their knowledge and passed on to me, and I'm giving this and passing to my people, to my community. As we have strong leaders, as for myself, I have so many strong leaders. For my clan, I'm proud, and I want to inspire and show a good role model to my people and to my community as well.
Well, thank you again for and you're already inspiring your community. So thank you so much to all of our panellists for sharing our story. I'm sure you'll agree, you know, these emerging, you know, young leaders, girl power right here. You know, the future is certainly looking bright with the work they're doing in their community. So thank you all for what you do and for sharing your stories and your inspiring words with us today. Let's have a round of applause for all of the incredible women on our Girl Power.
How good are those women, hey? Natalie, thank you so much for your fantastic job emceeing. It's about 15 years with NITV, right? You've been there for all the big events all around Australia, and you're here at Garma now. Terrific. Jasmine and Kayana, and what a knockout you two are. And especially Kayana just told me that she didn't have a lot of notice that she was going to have to present today. So it's especially brave, especially courageous to get up to a room full of people from everywhere and present like that. Congratulations to both of you. When I was listening to you talking about helping your young women grow up to be strong, proud and safe, I thought, what an inspiring mission you have. And I know that you are leaders in your community, and sometimes women find it hard to take on the role of leadership. Sometimes they feel embarrassed about claiming their space. But you know, leadership is a service that you are providing to the next generation, and they will be stronger because of the service that you are giving as leaders in your community. You talked about teaching your young women to be able to say no. No is a very powerful word. It's a very powerful word, and we need our young women to know that it's safe to say no when they want to say no. But there's two other powerful words as well. They're yes and, well, not yet, that's two words, but let's just go with that. It's really important as your young women grow up to learn the times to say yes as well. Yes to new opportunities, to travel, to study, to taking on a job that you don't think you're ready for, to taking on a role as a leader. Sometimes you think, I'm not ready for that yet, but the power of saying yes at the right time is really important as well. And there's another expression, not yet, that's really important as well. You think, I don't know how to do that. The answer to that is not yet, because I haven't tried yet. I haven't learnt that yet. You have to give yourself permission to try new things. And I know that with you as leaders, your young women will take all of those opportunities as well. You talked about hope for the future and respect for the past. And I know that, well, you give all of us hope for the future, and we're so impressed by the respect you have for your grandmothers and for your history and culture. Tashina, thanks so much for travelling and joining us here in Garma. What a long way to come. You talked about language and legacy as well. It makes my heart sing to hear you speak in language, and that goes for everybody at Garma. It's such a gift to give to future generations, to pass on language and culture. Thank you for doing it so strongly and for sharing with us today. Tashina also talked about the power of vulnerability and how important safety is to allow that. We can't be vulnerable unless we feel safe. We can't be vulnerable, and that's true for women everywhere. We can't be vulnerable if we don't feel safe. And so This is a strong message to the men. We raise up strong daughters, we raise up strong women when we have safe men. And it's men who have the responsibility to say to other men, we have to create safety for women and children everywhere. And Rosalie. Rosalie said she would speak from the heart and speak her truth, and she did. And she talked about, as a mother, how that changes her view of all children. My favourite quote about children is from a guy called John Dewey. Anybody here a librarian? No? So you've been in a library, you've seen the Dewey Decimal System. He invented the Dewey Decimal System. He said, what the best and wisest parent wants for his child, that's what society should want for all its children. None of us is just a parent to one child or 3 children or 5 children. All of us have a responsibility for every child. Every one of us has a responsibility for every child. The government's doing a lot of work in this area with the Safe and Supported program. We've invested $263 million to support investment in ending violence. It's the biggest investment ever in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander-led programs to reduce violence against women. That's programs for men, it's programs for adolescent boys, it's programs for children who've lived with trauma, and it's programs led by women. And the women that we have seen presenting today show us just why investing in our women is so important and has such a huge payoff for the generations to come. Thank you.